There are two Nigerians I want you to think about. The first is a trader. She has a land dispute. She goes to court, waits 3 years. She wins her case. The other party ignores the judgment. She goes back to court. Another year passes. Nothing happens. Eventually, she runs out of money for legal fees and she gives up. She walks away from her own land, owning a piece of paper that says she is right. The second Nigerian is a public official. There are allegations against him, financial crimes documented and reported. The case has been sitting in the system for 5 years. He continues in his position. He attends public functions. Nothing happens. Same country, same constitution, same promise of equality before the law. Two completely different experiences of justice. The Five-Star Movement said this is not coincidence. It is how the system was designed, and we plan to redesign it. The reasons that these two Nigerians have such different experiences is structural, not personal, not accidental, but structural. Let me name 3 things that makes the rule of law fail in Nigeria. First, the agencies that are supposed to fight corruption cannot be trusted to be independent. The heads of EFCC, ICPC, and the Code of Conduct Bureau are all appointed by the president and can all be removed by the president. Think about what that means. The people tasked with investigating executive corruption answer to the very executive they may need to investigate. That's not an anti-corruption system. That's a controlled one. Secondly, courts in Nigeria are slow enough to be weaponized by delay. A case can take 5, 7, 10 years to resolve. That delay does not hurt everyone equally. It may hurt the person who cannot afford to keep paying legal fees for a decade. It protects the person who can. Third, when stolen public funds are recovered, and sometimes they are, the money rarely returns to the community it was taken from. The schools that are never built because its funds were stolen stays unbuilt. The clinic that was never equipped stays unequipped. Recovery without restoration is not justice. It's a procedure. Nigeria does not have a law problem. It has a system that was never built to apply the law equally. The Five-Star Movement rule of law mandate has 5 pillars. Let me walk you through them plainly. First, no one is above the law. Five-Star Movement will push for the constitutional amendment, ensuring that no president, no governor, no public official is shielded from investigation or prosecution. For corruption and human rights violations committed while in office, the law must apply to everyone or it protects no one. Second, free the anti-corruption agencies. Under the Five-Star Movement constitutional first mandate, the heads of ICPC, EFCC, and the Code of Conduct Bureau will be selected through an independent process, a multi-stakeholder committee that includes Nigerian Bar Association and civil societies, not appointed by the president, nor removed by the president on a whim. To remove them, a 2/3 of majority of the Senate must vote on proven misconduct, not political disagreement, proven misconduct. These agencies will, for the first time, be structurally free to do their jobs. Third, the promise tracker. Every public servant's commitment, every promise made when entering office, documented, mapped by a specific budget, and measured publicly every year. Failures triggers an automatic legislative review, not a strongly worded statement, a review with consequences. Because circumstances change has been the answer to accountability in Nigeria for too long. Fourth, return stolen money to the community it was stolen from. When courts recover public funds, Five-Star Movement resource return policy requires that money goes back to the specific community it was stolen from, ring-fenced for the exact purpose that it was defrauded. If a local government chairman stole the school building fund, the recovered money builds the school, not into general government accounts, into the school, because justice without restoration is just paperwork. Fifth, make courts fast, digital, and equally available to everyone. Full digitalization of court processes, no more disappearing case files, no more scheduling manipulated in favor of those who can afford to wait. Specialized fast-tracking courts for property and business disputes, so that a trader's land case does not take 10 years to resolve, and the Citizens' Rights to Justice Act, free quality legal representation for any Nigerian facing state harassment or arbitrary detention who cannot afford a lawyer, because the law should not be a luxury. In Nigeria today, access to justice costs more money than most Nigerians can afford. Five-Star Movement will change that. Let's go back to the story I was telling you about in the beginning. The one about the trader who won a case and still lost her land. I want to tell you what our experience looks like in the Nigerian Five-Star Movement is building. She goes to court. The process is digital. A case is on the system, transparent, visible, and impossible to make disappear. She gets a hearing date that is not manipulated. The judge assigned to her case was appointed on merit, not because of connections to a political patron. She wins. The judgment is enforced because there is now a mechanism that tracks compliance with court orders and flags non-compliance automatically. She gets her land, not in 10 years, in one. And across the country, a community that was once robbed of its healthcare funds watches a clinic being built because the recovered money came home. A public official who made promises in office is sitting before a legislative review because the promise tracker says the budget was there and the delivery was not. This is in Nigeria where the constitution means what it says, where the law is the same for the trader and the minister, where justice is not something you buy, it is something you are owed. The 5-Star Movement is looking for your engagement with all these ideas. Our full rule of law mandates every mechanism, every constitutional proposal, every accountability tool is published at 5star.ng. Read it, share it, and join us.